Josh, thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to dive right into AI and financial services. This is a 101 fundamentals of getting started. So let's dig right in if you're game.
Thanks for having me. Excited to talk about AI.
All right. So, what does AI look like in financial services? And what is the biggest misconception folks have?
Well, first, banks have been doing artificial intelligence for many years. It really started with machine learning using predictive AI. And I'd say banks are some of the most mature industries in artificial intelligence, managing risk of those models, and integrating AI into their enterprise as well. So, what's really new is the generative AI. Many banks have been using the features that are already part of the services they may consume. Let's say you use Salesforce, they're using the Salesforce AI. They've been doing a lot of experimentation on public clouds, but this year, what we saw is that many of the banks are starting to build out their own foundational infrastructure to really have full control over their entire AI estate and mix both predictive AI with generative AI as well. As far as the misconceptions, there's lots of misconceptions, and we see so many debates online that it's about replacing people, that it's about that you need one big model that's going to know everything about your entire firm. What we see is that people in financial firms, small and large, are very pragmatic, and they're starting with smaller experiments that that turn results, and those get better and better over time. That they're focused on empowering people to have higher quality in the work that they do, to have all this knowledge of the entire firm or entire domain at their fingertips as they execute in their mission to really serve their customers in a better way.
You mentioned smaller experiments. Talking about smaller experiments, there's oftentimes people try to go all or nothing when they go into a new technology. How can folks get started? What are some easy ways?
I'd say that being able to consume these technologies in a way that you maintain the optionality of an ability to change as your experiments prove that they could be more efficient or less efficient or done with a new innovation. I'd say that when I say experiment, doesn't mean having a go or no go based approach. It's finding the best approach to achieve something. So if you are a recent grad, got your MBA, most of business school is talking about business experiments, putting measurements in place and continuing to iterate to execute better on any kind of business initiative, whether that's AI or not. And so when we go to AI, these smaller experiments are about making sure that you're tracking your progress, that you're minimizing risk in the process, and that you're hitting this inflection point of being able to do things better than you did before, and also minimizing the scope of what these are at. So I've seen some financial firms making some chatbots for treasury services, for example. You roll out a big chatbot, people start using it to generate code or to do all sorts of things. And so these experiments are about how do you maintain the controls in the specialized purpose of the AI model or the AI solution that you're implementing, and then have many of those experiments running in parallel to really just drive the value of AI over time. Now, just to add on to that, Red Hat believes that to get started, you really want to focus on building a foundation that allows this massive amount of diversity that you will see in putting the instrumentation in place for the tracking and the risk controls and the innovation, basically that the journey of the application developer, the data scientist working together with business analysts to focus on what is actually measurably improvable to the business.
As they're looking at what's measurably improvable and working through experiments, what are some of the ways that you've seen them actually using it today that's helping? And then how is it eliminating processes that can be burdensome and frustrating?
Yeah, I'd say that even when we use AI ourselves, we have access to things like Gemini. Banks also are creating some of these chatbots, or they're using models in things like cybersecurity embedded in log analysis streams as well. So there's such a diverse set of capabilities and ways that people are integrating with AI. And what I'm seeing is that financial firms, such as card networks, are taking what they've already done with things like fraud detection, and making that much better. So it used to be that fraud detection happened on a multi-day basis, and now these initiatives are about real-time fraud detection and selling a service to their customers to generate new revenues for real-time fraud detection as an additional new business capability that they have too. So the possibilities are endless. And I think the first focus, as you're alluding to, that the frustrating things that, and I think collaboration between people can be really tough because we have to translate from what we know to someone else's perspective. And AI models really help you to take a core concept and translate it to someone else's perspective, even at that individual to individual type of relationship.
As folks get started and they want to test and experiment and play with it, how can they do that on a really small scale where it's secure but also informative before they roll out for a full deployment?
Well, Red Hat is doing so much to drive a lot of these experiments with our AI pioneers inside of Red Hat. So Red Hat has really pushed this idea that we want to drive over 1,000 proof of concepts with our customers globally. And we're looking for the ambitious folks that really want to solve business problems. And we have practitioners that are on the ready to not just focus on how do we get a platform established so you can do many more experiments, but to really drive that first win with you as well. So you don't have to buy an entire data center of GPUs. A lot of these are starting with small installations with 4 to 10 GPUs sometimes, for something that could scale to an entire division or entire firm, especially for one specific use case. And these, I think a lot of people are in this chicken and egg situation where they're like, do I need to buy an entire new data center near a power plant to fund all of the, how large does that need to be? What do I use? I'd say start smaller with a set of GPUs in your firm. Maybe you're starting on the public cloud, but my biggest advice is consider that you're going to be probably deploying these things on all clouds in your own data centers, as well as in the edge or in sovereign countries. And so Red Hat's focus is really making sure that whatever you're building, we can deploy anywhere with you.
Last and final question, what is the risk for folks who do not adopt AI in financial services? If they're just not ready or if they fall behind, what are they up against?
Well, it's so disruptive to how we are going to engage internally and operate efficiently, as well as how they connect with their customers or create new business models. You're simply going to fall behind your competition. If you're a big bank, then smaller firms are going to be able to outpace you with new capabilities. If you're a large bank, and you have to worry about those others taking out part of your market share. If you're a small firm, the big banks do have more resources and spend to contribute to these capabilities. And you risk just losing your ability to even enter the market.
All right. Well, Josh, thank you for joining us today. We have an entire series of AI in financial services, so please keep your eyes and ears out for that. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.